Happening now, a city of Jamestown man is facing charges after allegedly hitting a toddler with his vehicle last week. We have the details, plus the latest on early voting in Chautauqua County.
Well, the clouds are going to be around throughout much of the day with a scattered shower, and could we see the first snowflakes of the season later this week? I've got the details next. The news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. A man is facing charges in connection with a hit and run of a toddler last week on 5th Street here in Jamestown. Jamestown police say 27-year-old Nicholas Evans allegedly struck a 2-year-old with his vehicle before leaving the scene of the crash last Thursday. Now, police say they responded to a report of a small child being struck as they were walking along the side of the road with their family. Now, Evans allegedly did not stop and continued without stopping. Police say he reportedly continued and drove into a nearby parking lot on East 4th Street at East 2nd Street, where a group of individuals who had witnessed the crash approached him and then broke out his driver's side window of the vehicle. Evans, who police say at that point was in fear for his life, then drove away again from the area. He was later located by Jamestown police officers. Evans is facing several charges. He'll appear in Jamestown City Court at a later date. Well, 2 more deaths linked to COVID-19 were reported in Cattaraugus County over the weekend. The county health department says an 82-year-old woman and a 62-year-old man developed respiratory failure and, despite medical treatment, was unable to overcome their illness. This is the 17th and 18th death in the county since the outbreak started. This is the 12th this month. Now, in an interview with us last week, the county's health director says the increase in COVID-19 related deaths is primarily linked to those with pre-existing conditions like diabetes. Additionally, 4 new cases of the virus were reported in Cattaraugus County, bringing the number of active cases to 64, with 298 total and 318 recovered. In Chautauqua County, 19 new cases were also reported over the weekend. The county health department is expected to release more information on that today. Well, cases of COVID-19 are rising not just locally, but across the United States as well. The U.S. recorded its largest single-day number of infections since the start of the pandemic. As John Lawrence reports, some health experts warn that that trend is likely to continue as we head into the holiday season.
The coronavirus isn't showing signs of easing its grip on the U.S.
The reality is that the worst could be yet to come, and that the beginning has been more or less the warm-up act for what's about to hit.
At least 35 states are seeing a rise in new week-to-week cases, according to Johns Hopkins University.
Some of the worst hit places in the country right now are rural areas, and those health facilities are very quick to be overrun.
As for the White House,
we're not going to control the pandemic. We are going to control the fact that we get vaccines, therapeutics, and other mitigation areas.
Sources tell CNN at least 5 members of Vice President Mike Pence's staff have tested positive for COVID-19. Pence, who the White House said tested negative for the virus on Sunday, spent the weekend on the campaign trail.
COVID is a reality that they don't want to face. This has been a failure, and they're just not going to talk about it now. And they'll just pretend that it's just not happening.
The University of Washington's Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation predicts more than 100,000 lives could be saved through February if 95% of Americans wear masks while in public.
We know that it's easier to wear a mask in the winter than it is in the summer, and I think it would be very reasonable to put forward a mask mandate.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
John, thank you. The Trump administration this morning clarified its official position after the White House chief of staff said that they couldn't control the pandemic. The White House Director of Strategic Communications, Afri Farah, says the administration was absolutely not given up on controlling the spread. Rather, she says the goal is to lower the curve to protect those most vulnerable and then surge therapeutic vaccines. Dr. Francis Collins, he's the director of the National Institutes of Health, says he is cautiously optimistic that a vaccine will be authorized before the end of this year. However, he admits that it might take a little bit longer to reach that milestone. Well, back here at home, 3 elementary schools in Chautauqua County are moving to remote learning this week. Both Bemis Point Elementary, Silver Creek Elementary, and School Number 7 in Dunkirk resumed virtual learning today. In a message to parents yesterday, Bemis Point Superintendent Joe Rada says the district's elementary will be teaching virtually for the next 2 weeks. He cites staffing issues at that school. He says Maple Grove Middle and High School will continue their current hybrid model. 2 positive cases within the school district, 1 in the elementary and 1 in the high school, were reported over the weekend. The Silver Creek Central School District says its elementary school will have virtual learning through Wednesday of this week after 2 staff members there tested positive. The Dunkirk City School District will also engage in remote learning through Wednesday after one of their staff members tested positive for COVID-19. Anyone identified as a close contact of those who tested positive will be contacted by either the school or the Chautauqua County Health Department. Well, we thank you for joining us here for WNY News Now as we start the final week of October and a big push to the 2020 election, which is happening right now. If you think about it, a lot of people have already submitted absentee ballots. Early voting kicked off over the weekend here locally. We'll have much more on that coming up in just a little bit. But for now, let's check in with the comments. Good to see Debbie. Good to see Chris. Great to see Ashley, Brittany, Joseph, Maddie, and Donna. Hopefully you're doing well. We thank you so much for tuning in. Now let's get a check of our First Defense weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter is standing by with a live look at that. And Dakota, it's certainly a pretty wet and chilly one out there.
Yes, it is. And happy Monday, everybody. First day of a new work week and last week of October. We're so close to November, and here's a live look coming from the Mill Creek Mall in Erie. Clouds around out there, a few scattered showers moving across the area. We'll show you the radar, and you can see we've had a few of these little spot showers moving across the southern tier and Warren County, hightailing to the northeast. And the rain today is not going to be widespread. It is going to be scattered in nature, and not everybody is going to get wet, but there's going to be more clouds around today, especially through the afternoon. Temperatures, this is a stark comparison to where we were, especially on Friday. Do you remember at this hour on Friday, we were in the 70s, topping 80 in some spots. Look at where we are now. 45 here in town, 46 Mayville, 46 Clymer, 44 Harbor Creek, 45 in Waterford, 48 in Olean, 43 in Olean, 48 in Randolph. So again, the temperature is much cooler today because of a north to northwest wind component dragging in that cooler air from Canada. And this is really going to continue here. So you can say goodbye to the 70s. They're long gone, likely until next spring. Likely. We'll see. 43 was the high yesterday. We only bottomed out at 41 this morning. Temperatures didn't budge too much because of lots of cloud cover around. 81 and 15 are the record highs and lows at the airport for this date. So through the afternoon, showers become less later this afternoon. Just lots of clouds. Fog, especially possible early this afternoon. Birds off later. 47 to 52. Again, temps not budging much with a northwest wind, 4 to 8 miles per hour. We're keeping our eyes on tropical storm Zeta down in the Gulf of Mexico. And could we see the first snowflakes of the season come later this week? I'll tell you what we know next in a few. Justin.
All right, Dakota, thank you. Well, Chautauqua County's public defender says his office needed to adjust very quickly to the COVID pandemic and all of its subsequent challenges. WNY News Now's court reporter Matt Hummel recently conducted a one-on-one phone interview with attorney Ned Barone to discuss a variety of topics, including the adjustments that they made as a result of the pandemic. Barone says that all public defenders in New York State are considered essential workers. He says that his staff, as well as himself, needed to conduct a two-pronged approach to perform their duties in the public defender's office.
Obviously, we had to balance effective representation of all clients while at the same time providing a safe environment for our employees. That's one of the concerns we had, and making sure that we didn't pass anything on to any of our clients.
The Chautauqua County Public Defender's Office, according to Barone, has also seen an increase in their caseload over the years. He explains that part of the increase is due to a lot of economic stress here in the county. Now, the department he heads as the attorney sees around 85 to 90% of the total number of criminal cases here in Chautauqua County. Well, a Sherman woman was arrested for allegedly assaulting two people at a Potter Road address in the town of Chautauqua yesterday. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office says 45-year-old Janet Briggs allegedly grabbed and then applied pressure to the throat of two people during the altercation. Deputies say one of the victims sustained a physical injury and as a result had to seek medical attention. Briggs was arrested and charged with 2 counts of criminal and third-degree criminal obstruction of breathing and taken to the county jail pending arraignment in the case. Well, coming up next, the latest on early voting. How many people turned out here locally over the weekend? But first, how a Fredonia man is accused of biting a New York State trooper. That and more as WNY News Now continues.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
I'm Jason Schmidt. I'm a former felony prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney here in Chautauqua County. I've worked both sides of the system for the past 15 years. I'm the only candidate endorsed by local law enforcement. Police here in Chautauqua County, you know what's going on. Each year here in Chautauqua County, the police make about 1,000 felony arrests. In 2019, only 17.4% of those arrests resulted in felony convictions. I know how to fix their problems, and that's why I'm running for district attorney.
As a former county executive, I know exactly the challenges and opportunities that we have here in Chautauqua County. That's why I'm very proud to support PJ Wendell for county executive. His knowledge, his experience, and his leadership are exactly what we need at this moment in time. I would ask you all to please support PJ Wendell for county executive.
Wendell has the experience, he's got the leadership, and he's got the knowledge and ability.
One of the most important characteristics of a successful county executive is being able to surround themselves with the right people for the right situation. And that is exactly what PJ Wendell has done. Having direct experience in county government is absolutely critical, and no one should start out as county executive with having no experience at all with county government. So PJ Wendell brings that experience both as a long-term legislator and a former chairman of the legislature. He has my 100% support.
For the past 9 years, I've been a prosecutor right here in Chautauqua County, fighting to keep this community safe. My family lives here with me in Fredonia, and I grew up in Sherman, New York. Fighting to make sure that these communities stay safe is so very important to me. We have the highest caseload of any county in this state, and as your district attorney, I'm dedicated to making sure that each case gets handled the right way for not only the victims, but for the people that live in this county. I'm fully invested in this community, and I'm fully invested in this community's future. Vote Patrick Swanson for Chautauqua County District Attorney.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. A Village of Fredonia man sits in county jail after allegedly biting a New York State trooper responding to a domestic disturbance last week in Ripley. New York State police say on Friday, 41-year-old Scott Walker was drunk when he allegedly threw several items around a residence, causing damage to the drywall and to a television. While police were attempting to place him under arrest, they say Walker actively resisted and then bit one of the troopers. Walker is charged with several crimes, including assault. Police say the trooper was treated at a local hospital for minor injuries. Well, in-person early voting kicked off this weekend in New York State, and here in Chautauqua County, thousands of residents turned out to take part in the political process. At the Chautauqua Mall in Lakewood, voters had up to a 20-minute wait at times to cast their ballots. In total, more than 2,000 people voted over the weekend. Early voting continues through Sunday at the elections offices in Mayville, the Chautauqua County Fairgrounds in Dunkirk, and at the mall in Lakewood. Now, on Monday and Tuesday, polling places are open from noon until 8, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 10 to 6, and Saturday and Sunday from noon to 5. Chautauqua County's Republican Election Commissioner Brian Abrams spoke to us this morning about the political process. He says voting early is almost identical to voting on Election Day.
except for the ballot is actually created right in front of you, and that is where the delay would be. A printer is hooked up to the iPad, and the e-poll book communicates and says, hey, I found this person, this is the ballot they're supposed to be voting, so the printer makes it right in front of you. To print obviously takes some time, and especially, with the amount of information on a ballot.
Now, this is the first time New Yorkers have been able to vote early in the presidential election. The state also launched early voting last year. Its biggest use so far was in the June primary, when more than 118,000 people voted early, or about 6.7% of the total votes that were cast. People can also vote by absentee ballot this year. Officials are trying to avoid crowded polling places on Election Day because of COVID-19. Now, nationwide, more than 50 million Americans have already cast their ballots for the election. That's about 36% of the total ballots cast in 2016's presidential election. Well, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention are reminding everyone to be cautious when voting. They're releasing some new safety tips to help lessen the spread of COVID at the polls. Now, among the recommendations are wearing a mask, maintaining distance from others, and washing your hands not only before but also after casting your ballot. The CDC also recommends bringing your own supplies like a pen, a tissue, and hand sanitizer to avoid contracting or even spreading COVID. And lastly, the CDC wants you to try to limit your time at the polls overall. They recommend viewing a sample ballot before visiting the polls. Those living in Chautauqua County can find their sample ballot at votechautauqua.com. Well, in D.C., the Senate will move forward to confirm Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court today. Senators met yesterday, part of a two-weekend session. As Britt Conway reports, a vote will mostly come along party lines.
Setting the stage for confirmation.
The Senate is doing the right thing. We're moving this nomination forward. And colleagues, by tomorrow night, we'll have a new member of the United States Supreme Court.
In a rare weekend session to debate the nomination of President Trump's Supreme Court pick, Amy Coney Barrett, the Senate voted largely along party lines on Sunday to end debate and move forward.
On this vote, the yeas are 51, the nays are 48. The motion is agreed to.
It only took a simple majority to break the Democratic filibuster, clearing the path for Judge Barrett to become the next Associate Supreme Court Justice. For weeks, Democrats have called on Senate Republicans to postpone the confirmation until after the election.
Nearly every Republican in this chamber, led by the Majority Leader, 4 years ago refused to even consider the Supreme Court nomination of a Democratic president. My colleagues, there is no escaping this glaring hypocrisy.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says Barrett is a highly qualified candidate, and Democrats are only focused on politics.
Yeah, they want to make apocalyptic predictions about policy.
The Senate will reconvene Monday to hold the final vote to confirm, just 8 days before the election. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
All right, Britt, thank you. The vote is scheduled to take place tonight, with President Trump swearing in the justice almost immediately following it. Well, we thank you for joining us here for WNY News Now. Hopefully everyone is having a great day. Let's check in with the comments and say hello to Brittany, Cindy, Crystal, Ollie, Pam. Thanks so much for joining us today. Good to see Nicole and Elizabeth as well. Well, now let's get a check of our First Defense weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joins us back now. And Dakota, real quick, have you ever heard of the term wall hugger?
Yes, I have.
Well, I'm a wall hugger today. I'm plugged in because I forgot to charge my tablet over the weekend. There we go. So this is as far as it can go. I'm literally connected to the wall.
Yeah, you've got that short little
Apple cord.
Yeah, 6 meter or 3 meter.
I had
whatever
a longer one at my desk, but I didn't have enough time to grab it and unwire it from the desk, and it's such a pain in the butt. I'm like, I'll just deal with this for now, but it's becoming a bigger pain in the butt than probably getting the longer cords.
Well, hey, you know what? If you bought the iPhone 12, it's a pain in the butt because not only does it come with a USB-C to Lightning cable, not Lightning, to Lightning to USB-C. So if you don't have a computer that has USB-C or any of the USB-C dongles, you're out of luck. And it doesn't come with the power brick. So
Yeah.
It's another thing you have to order. But it still works if you're upgrading from an original iPhone with the Lightning to USB-A. You can still use the old cables.
As long as I can charge my phone, that's all I care about.
Yeah, but you can buy the new MagSafe stuff. Yeah. It magnetically connects to the back of the phone.
So I got to ask you about that radar pic behind you. Is that snow? Behind, right there?
Oh, on the radar.
First defense Doppler, yeah, because that's I know the viewers don't see it. I don't think. I have a full screen of your weather setup.
Yes. This is actually, we're going to talk about this in just a minute.
Is that us?
No, this is out in the Midwest.
Okay,
this is a major snowstorm out there. It could be a major ice storm. Let's get into it, and I'll talk about it in just a couple of minutes here. But speaking of snow, hey, Andrew talked about this 2 weeks ago when I was on my vacation, and Andrew talked about the Skywarn Storm Spotter training comes up this Thursday at 7 o'clock. Now, it is not the springtime session, which talks about, thunderstorms and flooding. This is actually going to talk about winter weather, talking about lake effect snow and how to take good measurements. So if you want to do the Storm Spotter training, you can register online at weather.gov/BUF/Skywarn, and it's online. You can do it in your PJs. Cuddle up in your bed or next to your significant other and take the training. We really need more spotters, so please consider that this Thursday at 7 o'clock. So here's what's coming up here. So it's going to be a soggy and gloomy afternoon. No sunshine. Sorry. Hate to break it to you. But we do dry out, especially toward the middle of the week. As we hinted, we could see the first snowflakes late this week, and it's likely looking like Friday could be our best chance for this with another storm system. And we're keeping our eyes on Tropical Storm Zeta down in the Yucatan. Here is the radar image that Justin was just talking about. This is a major winter storm out here, especially out in the Midwest. This pink area is a mix of rain and snow, also sleet and ice. And there could be a major ice storm, especially out in Oklahoma. This could be a major ice storm. Lots of snow up here in parts of Kansas and Missouri. But as we swing you back to home here, just lots of clouds around here. There's a frontal boundary back to our west, which is actually producing the showers that we had today. Here is Zeta. Can you believe this is the furthest we have ever gone in the Greek alphabet, Zeta? We had Tropical Storm Zeta before in 2005. If we get one more named tropical system, we will break the all-time record for the most number of tropical systems we have had in a year ever. It's 2020, folks. Tropical Storm Zeta right here in the Yucatan. Where you see these grays, that's the area of convection. That's the colder air, the colder cloud top. So that's where the convection is. 70-mile-per-hour winds right now, borderline hurricane strength. This is going to come up into the Gulf of Mexico. Again, hit the Gulf states. Again, something they don't need. But earlier, this actually had it going towards us. It's actually going to swing it out to the northeast, out to the east coast. But we're going to keep our eyes on it, especially for later this week. So Future Scan shows you today just a few scattered showers around through the afternoon. A better chance of rain will come tonight, and it'll start to increase in coverage tonight. Maybe a couple of showers tomorrow in the morning. But otherwise, I think tomorrow should be mainly dry. And then we get into a better chance of showers as we go into Tuesday night. Now, Wednesday, the model does generate a band of lake effect rain that could move north of the region, but for the majority of the day on Wednesday, we're calling it mainly dry because the model guidance shoves it mainly to our north. Halloween is this Saturday, so how is it looking? Well, can you believe this is going to be probably one of the best Halloweens we've ever had? And probably some people are not going to be doing trick-or-treating this year because of COVID. But 41 degrees, mainly clear. This is going to be one of the best Halloweens we've had in several years. So if you're going to go out trick-or-treating, obviously maintain the social distance, the masks and whatnot, and obviously make sure you check with local authorities if your town is doing trick-or-treating next this year. Now, the future, brought to you by 42 Degrees and Sunny. 44 tomorrow, 50 on Wednesday. Again, we'll keep it mainly dry. The lake effect band should stay to our north. Better chance of showers on Thursday, 51. A few flakes possible early on Friday. And then the weekend looking nice, but chilly though. But actually, that's actually a nice warm up into the lower 50s with a good supply of sunshine both Saturday and Sunday. We will take a break. Be right back. First Defense Weather is sponsored by 42 Degrees and Sunny, smokin' deals on smokin' accessories. Learn more at 42degreesandsunny.com. That's 42degreesandsunny.com.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
I'm Jason Schmidt. I'm a former felony prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney here in Chautauqua County. Each year here in Chautauqua County, the police make about 1,000 felony arrests. In 2019, only 17.4% of those arrests resulted in felony convictions. It means that in less than 2 out of 10 serious crimes, the victims of those cases receive justice. 17.4% is not a number that's acceptable for me and my family. It certainly isn't good enough for yours.
Hi, I'm George Borrello, and I'm proud to serve as your senator for New York's 57th Senate District. In fact, in my first year, I've passed many pieces of legislation, as well as helping people and businesses in these challenging times. From fighting for a safe, common-sense reopening of our state's economy during the COVID-19 pandemic, to continuing the push for the repeal of the state's flawed criminal justice changes, which have made us all less safe, I am working hard for you every day as your state senator. Your vote will help me continue my mission to boost New York's economy, struggling from the COVID shutdown, and for small businesses not just to survive, but thrive. I will also continue to hold the government accountable by reviewing policies that led to the tragic nursing home deaths statewide. I am proud to represent our beautifully diverse region, and I will be honored to have your vote on Tuesday, November 3rd, so that I can continue my work fighting for you. It's not about rhetoric, it's about results.
Paid for by Borrello for Senate.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Well, whether it's in your latte or sitting on your front porch right now, today's the day to celebrate everybody's favorite gourd. October 26th marks National Pumpkin Day. The name comes from the Greek word pion, which translates to a large melon. Of course, pumpkins come in all shapes and sizes, and while they're fun to decorate and carve for Halloween, pumpkins are also packed with some nutrients like vitamin C, making them the perfect treat for the fall season. And in case you're wondering, the Guinness World Record for the largest harvest pumpkin is 2,600 pounds. Happy National Pumpkin Day, and certainly it's the season for it. And pumpkin spice, especially in like a nice warm hot chocolate, that would probably go over pretty well right about now. Let us know what you're thinking about in the comments down below. Great to see Cindy, good to see Sarah, Allison, and Beverly as well. Happy Monday. Thanks so much for starting your week with us. Well, let's now get a final check of our weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joins us back now in the First Defense Weather Center. And Dakota, I think a lot of people are whether we like it or not, we know that fall season is only going to last so long.
Yeah, and actually we are past the date for our average first snowfall here. So could we see snow later this week? It is a possibility. But before we get to that, let's take a look at the day planner for tomorrow. So if you want to plan your day, it's going to be a chilly day. We think more clouds around, so it's going to hold down our temperatures likely into the lower 40s. But do watch out, a few scattered showers from time to time. But chilly, though, temperatures only reaching around 43, 44, especially here in the city. Cooler pockets may stay in the lower 40s all day tomorrow, Justin.
All right, Dakota, that's true. We don't want to jump the gun quite yet for forecasting the you-know-what.
But hey, you know what? I have a lot of friends who ski and snowboard. I know they're looking forward to this season, so.
Yeah, no doubt. And we had a pretty good summer, all things considered. With all of 2020, it was nice. A couple severe weather spots, but nothing too crazy. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Well, that's going to do it for us today. Of course, we remind you when you're on the go, stay in the know by downloading the WNY News Now mobile app. Dakota and I are back tomorrow live here at noon. Hope to see you then.